diverse country with various beautiful cultures, languages, religions, rituals and beliefs. But then too, we all are united together with the spirit of patriotism and the moral values, and the founding stone for the same is led by a mother, a woman. Namaste, my name is Sandeep Chausali. This is Light Talks, a step to provide light in everyone's path. Today I'll be talking about the women in India. I'll be talking about the impact of the cultural shift in our society. So let's get started. India is a country where the women are worshipped as a god. They have been given the state of the Shakti. Even in the ancient period, the greatest warriors of that time were known by the name of their mothers, the Ganga Putra Bhishma, the Kunti Putra Arjuna, and even the gods that we worship are known by the names of their mother, the Gaura Putra Ganesh, the Anjani Putra Hanuman. That era, the golden era I talk about, was the era when women and the men were having the equal opportunities in the society. They were having the equal decision-making power in the society. The women were ruling the dynasties. Even the kingdoms like Panchal were named after the ladies like Panchali. In that period, women were among the highest positions in the society. That was the era when we were not having any social evil practices like Sati Pratha, the child marriage, the dowry system, even the Parda system. But slowly, things got changed. We all started forgetting our culture. But then too, the state of the women in the society was same. There was no difference. Man and women were having the equal status, or no one was the weaker section of the society. Both were the superiors. But then comes the practices like the child marriage, the Sati Pratha, the dowry system, the Parda system, and many more, which prevailed for so long in our society, and some are still prevailing. And for the same, the Hindu peoples are being judged or are being blamed by the so-called elite West. But this is not what our culture actually had. It all started in 600 AD when we were invaded by the Turkish rulers, or we were invaded by the rulers who were in the Central Asia. They all started loots, murders and rapes in our country. Our Asian culture at that time, being so concerned about the dignity of a woman, started keeping them inside the homes. They restricted them from joining the public meetings. The women themselves started keeping themselves inside the parda. And even we have seen that most of the ladies from the Rajasthan keeps them under a parda, or the pallu that we call it. This way, the evil practice or something that was not good for women started. The parda system that we know today. Now continuing forward, the forced sexual activities, the rapes were in the peak. The father was so afraid of his daughter that he started marrying his daughter at an early age so that she could be protected with her husband. This started an evil practice known as the child marriage. Most of the parents, the mother and the father, were so concerned about the safety of the woman, as the cruelty and those kind of cases were increasing so much in the society that they even didn't wanted a girl child in their home, because at that time dignity and the safety of the women was the first priority. So those parents even didn't wanted a girl child. So this started an evil practice known as the female feticide. The one of the most evil practice that I'll be talking about. Today in this 21st century, we can't even imagine the pain of that father and mother who used to do so just for the safety and the dignity of a woman. Slowly these invaders started making territories in the country, and whenever a woman used to lose her husband or when she used to get a widow, those invaders used to take those women. They used to do the trafficking, as the protection of that lady was lost. To get saved from this, a woman herself started burning in the funeral pyre of her husband. This started one of the most evil practice, the Sati Pratha. Same way, then father started giving the large amount of money to the groom's side, so that that groom will be marrying his daughter. Earlier, which just used to be a gift, started being as evil practice. These all things that the man or the woman did at that time was a need in that heat of the moment. But slowly, when the new generation came, they saw all these things and they thought that women were the weaker section of the society and men were the superior ones. These all practices became the evil practices. Then women started being backward in the society. But again, our culture saved us. In the late 1700s and in the starting of the 1800s, there were many educated people who took us back to our Vedas and Upanishads. They taught us about Vedas and then even fought for the banning of these kind of evil practices. Successfully, with the help of those cultural values, those ethos, they were able to ban all these kind of evil practices to some extent, and even the women then started being empowered again. The women then again started climbing the ladders. They were in the zenith of their respective fields, and even they were doing lot more things for the improvement of the other women in the country. Slowly these all things were rising. Women was being empowered, but sadly we were again invaded by the Western culture. And now this Western culture is increasing the crime against the women. I'll tell you how these culture shift is impacting the Indian culture. A woman was designated as the Jagat Janani, Devi, Mata in our Indian culture is being changed just because of the effect of the Western culture in our film industry. Now the new generation people have started calling women as a mal, jugaad, pataka or any of the slang words. Even just because of the Western culture, we are shifting from our ethical values, ethical beliefs and ethical attire to the Western attires, to the Western culture, to that Western values, which is just the expansion of the Western monoculture commercialization. We are adapting Western cultures and even we are trying to be like them. Now, without criticizing the Indians who are being adopting the Western culture, I tell some of the demerits of the Western culture which is increasing the crime against women globally. In Europe, 27% of the people think that rape should be acceptable in some circumstances. In USA, 1 of every 5 women is victim of rape or rape attempts. In USA, 1 of 4 children don't even know who their father is. 15% of the women in Europe are drug addicts. More than 50% of the women in Europe are the victim of exhibitionist disorder. 1 in every 10 Europeans have more than 1 sexual affairs. Large number of children in age group of 10 to 15 in Europe and America get their first sexual encounter. This all thing happened because of the sexual mental disorder and exhibitionist disorder. These type of disorders comes by frequently watching adult movies, thinking of sexual desires, being attracted to the other gender's body. And in European countries, it's normal because of the naked beaches, offending clothes in the public places, porn industries, red light areas, and many more things which are legal in those countries but are never acceptable in the culture of India. Now in our country, when same thing is starting, both genders are being attracted to the adult movies, consuming alcohol, going late night pubs, wearing illegitimate clothes. But yes, it could be a boldness or an individual freedom or even so-called women empowerment. But it can even be a undiagnosed or the hidden exhibitionist disorder, which is leading many crimes in our country and even globally. In our country, men who used to worship women have started staring them with an evil eye. Number of men thinking of these sexual activities is increasing day by day. Rape word is searched million times in porn sites. Not only men, most of the women have also started being attracted towards sexual desires with multiple partners, which day to day is increasing just because of the mental disorder or the exhibitionist disorder. And this is the reason why even an innocent is being raped. A small 1-year baby who even don't know how to walk, even she is not able to utter a word, she is being raped. This is all just because of those mental disorder or exhibitionist disorder that we are making in ourselves. Now, all these things can be improved. and we'll have to go with the step to improve all these things. Personally, I'm making this video from a place which is most safe in the country for the women. It is the district Pithoragarh in the state Uttarakhand, which is known as Devoki Bhumi. And it is safe because till date, people out here are following the moral values taught by their parents, taught by their culture. We are following our culture, those ethical or the cultural clothes we are wearing. We are less exposed to the internet or those pornographic sites. But things will not remain same. As it is changing all over the country, even the places like Uttarakhand will also be changing. So we all have to come together to make these all problems solved. So if we really want to make our country safe and a safest place for women to live in, we have to again go back to Vedas. We have to bring those cultural ethos back. And for this, you and I have to study those moral values taught by those Vedic books or those Vedic culture. The government has to make laws in our education system so that those Vedas, those cultural values should be taught in form of moral sciences in our school, so that our generation can even teach those moral values to the upcoming generation or the children of ours. नहीं तो आजकल के लोगों ने तो अपनी जनरेशन को moral values सिखाई दी. We only know how to take candles and do the candle march. So everyone out there watching my video has to take a pledge with me that we, both man and women, will be saving our country from that Western culture. We boys, we men will not stare girls with an evil eye. We both man and women will stand if anything wrong is happening in front of us against a woman. We both will learn all the ethical values and cultural values that are being taught in our Vedic culture, in our Gita, in Quran, in Bible, or in Guru Granth Sahib. We promise that we all will be saving our culture from the Western culture, and we will be going back to the Vedas. So Jai Hind and Jai Bharat. Hope you all liked this video, and if you really liked it, so please share and comment suitably, and even give some of the solutions that we all can take for protecting women and even returning back to our culture or our Vedas. We all together have to make India one of the safest places in the world. And one more thing, if anyone out there watching my video want to collaborate or even be a partner of mine in this journey of light talk, so can mail me or even can text me in a WhatsApp number that I'll be providing. So if even you want to make videos, so you all can upload, we can be a partner and we all can improve ourselves together. So till then, keep smiling, be happy, be optimistic, and have a nice day.